Yeah, so hey Mike, this is Fred Snow out in Kansas, and I'm going to give you a little tour of Lake Georgia Sioux and kind of give you an indication of what we need. This first video is just a general tour, just to take you through, and I'm also going to show you the entrance and the alleyways, and then other videos will have other areas that we would like to address. Okay, so here we go. Lake Georgia Sioux is located about 6 miles west of Ottawa, Kansas, and this is Route 68, and we're just going to turn south onto Georgia Road, and there's our sign. And there's a little quarter-mile entrance, so to say, or road that leads to the entrance. And I would like to add some color to this. I usually mow one width off the road, and anything beyond that I'd like to add a little color too, if I can. So we come up to this railroad track, and just as we go over the railroad track, we have our entrance, our official entrance. And off to the right here, I have some areas that all these areas inside this fence on my side of these gates, I like to have in wildflowers. And so we would turn left and go into our parking lot. This used to be a golf course, so this was the parking lot for the golf course. You can see, by the way, that we're already kind of in the spirit of things. Our buildings and many of our outbuildings are all painted up already. Our high school kids that used to work for us, some of them were artists, and they would paint different things for us. It's a pretty cheerful place. And then as people leave, we have this flower garden planted here, and it's pretty nice. You see a lot of sunflowers coming up there. They're not quite ready yet, but so we came in on Georgia Road, and we'll come back out on Georgia Road. Georgia Road is closed off. As you saw the gates there. It's all private after that. This is what we call the common area, and there's a house to my right, which we rent out to some folks who are kind of like caretakers for the place. And we have this common area here that along this fence to the right, I'd like to have some daisies or something nice there to show it off. And we have a playground, fire pit, and there's our clubhouse. Around the clubhouse I would like to get some ornamental grasses and so forth, but we'll go over that some other time. So we're going to go down to Georgia Road, just on the other side of that gate that you saw. Where all these roads connect, there will be little outcroppings or small little gardens of wildflowers. Here's the gate that you saw when I came into the entrance. Usually that gate's shut today, certainly. So I'll turn around and take you around the perimeter of the property. So on all these roads, we call them alleyways, alleyways between our pastures. I always mow just one width on each side of them, and then we'll just let the rest grow. Now I have trimmed off the tops on the right and left here, as you see, but I'm just going to let them grow the rest of the year, and they'll go to seed again. So I'd like to add some color in these alleyways. It doesn't have to be thick color, but it would be nice that in that higher grass, which is fescue primarily, and a few mixed grasses, that we would be able to color them up a little bit. This is kind of my staging area for all my construction projects. It doesn't look very nice right now, but sometimes you got to make a mess to make things look nice. So this is called Hickory Hollow Road, and on the map that I gave to you, you'll notice I can't remember what letter it is, but it's called Hickory Hollow Road. And you can see the lake to the left. Oh, there goes a heron. This alleyway, Hickory Hollow alleyway, you see it's pretty wide. And each side of it has grown up. I have not trimmed it down yet, nor will I. You can see some Queen Anne's lace on the right, and over on the left there's some chicory and Queen Anne's lace and some other things, but it would be nice to color it up even more. See some of our horses there on the left. These, I think that these are asters. I haven't cut them down because I think I remember them blooming late in the year. And if they're not asters, then I've let a whole bunch of weeds grow. And I'm willing, you know, to just go in with Roundup and kill huge swaths, but and start over again. But I'd rather kind of selectively do that. Here to the right is a meadow, and we want all of our meadows to have more color. The meadows are grassy areas that are not in a pasture. There's our shooting range. A little bit windy today, you can see things flopping around. Again, some more fescue here that needs a little coloring with it. And some more to the left here. I mean, I like the way it looks. I'm kind of glad that I quit mowing everything because I think it looks pretty nice with the higher grass on the outside. We have a lot of trees down. We had a bad storm a couple weeks ago, so we haven't gotten it cleaned up yet. It's really basically just me working. My son and grandson help on the weekends, but can't get as much done as when I had 8 employees. So we have a variety of meadows around, but we actually call this one up here on the left, we call it the Meadows. And it's a campsite, which I will go over with you in great detail. And it's a campsite that sits along the lake. But we won't do that in this video. So this is the East Bridge that we're coming to, and to our right the water kind of disappears into the woods over to the right. To the left the water goes for quite a ways. It's a big lake, 8 acres, 4,000 feet around, and I'll turn and show it to you here in just a second. Each of these intersections we have a lot of flowers. You can see a lot of zinnias coming up here right now, and there's the lake. I'll drive you around it in a moment after we get these alleyways looked at. Some more zinnias and tomatoes in front of me there. So each one of these intersections will be just surrounded by wildflowers, and you'll also see that on the map that I'll be sending to you. This is called the Railroad Alleyway, and I think it's kind of pretty, again, with the high grass on the outside. And once again, we want to add some color. And we don't have to make it thick color, but it would be just nice to break it up a little bit. We have this big old stump up here on the left, and I do have some daisies planted there, and they're starting to come off pretty good. Little meadow here to the left, just a wooded meadow of sorts. I'm not really too worried about that necessarily. And then we're coming up on the clubhouse again. this is a meadow over here by the railroad, and you can see where we used to tack up our horses over here. And we have a round pen. There's the round pen where we used to train horses, and at some point we'll have a project to surround it with some wildflowers as well. Here's old Gertie, my tractor. So now we'll come back into the common area again, and we're going to go down Tom's Meadow Road. Tom is my stepdad who passed away a few years ago, and again we have the alleyway, Tom's Meadows alleyway here to dress up with some color. And this is Tom's Meadow. And right here at the intersection, you can see we have some, I think these are daisies or black-eyed Susans planted. And the road goes off to the right, or it splits off to the left here. And as it splits off to the left, it comes down here and splits again. And I have a few wildflowers planted here, but it's part of the set that didn't come up very well, and it's nothing but kind of grassy stuff. These are mostly weeds here that, and then Tom's Meadow comes up to this, what used to be a green on the golf course, and it's really under construction right now, but you can see it's a beautiful view. And this whole green here, this whole area will have a special kind of vista handling of it, which you'll see that on the map as well. So we call this the North Lake Road because it's on the north side of the lake. And as we go, you'll see on the right here that I let this border grow up a bit, and I would like to make this very colorful and nice. So it doesn't mean that we have to have wildflowers on every square foot or every linear foot, but it would be nice to have a variety of outcroppings, of wildflowers and ornamental grasses, and where it's appropriate, where the water level is okay, I can put in some cattails or other reeds. This particular bank right here is the water is just a little deep for cattails, but there are a lot of places where we can put cattails, and I think that they would look nice in the water with the ornamental grasses and the wildflowers in front of them. These are all sycamores planted around the lake. They're all about 7 or 8 years old, coming along pretty nicely. This is the East Bridge again, and the East Bridge is lined right now with poppies and cosmos, and they're starting to come on. And then the intersection up here again is this is actually a deer mix that we have, that we got from you. It started off really slow, but it's starting to come on now. And then these are the meadows. These are the campsites that I'll show you in a separate video. But just to follow the line of the lake. Sorry if there's reflection from the glass. It's just a lot easier doing it inside the car than I did the first version of this on my Gator, and it was just all shaky and wasn't very good quality. So this is a nice area here, and we call this the chapel, and I'll show it to you in more detail on the next video, but it's where we're going to hold weddings. You can see it's just a really nice backdrop. back side of it is this area that's higher ground. This used to be a green on the golf course. And from up here you can see the entire lake. It's kind of pretty. It's the nearest thing to a mountain that we have out here. So on the map that I sent to you, this is where the gold little location pointer is, and this is called the chapel. And this is part of the chapel here. This will be a place where people can come. There'll be a couple of benches here, and people can just sit and rest or reflect or whatever they want to do. Swoon, whatever. Now, I haven't mowed this either. It doesn't look quite as nice, but a lot of that's because I've been working on the banks of my lake. I've been putting big pieces of cement slabs in, and so this whole area just took kind of a beating. But you can see all the high grass on the left and the right. This, especially on the lake side, needs to be a lot of color. Here's an intersection surrounded with wildflowers, and the plots, they haven't grown yet. Coming back out to my construction staging area here that I showed you before. And now we'll meet Georgia Road, go north on Georgia. This is a little culvert here. The water runs under it to form our lake on the right. And then this is the little road we made. It's called North Lake Drive, which I mentioned to you. And this is going to bring us up Tom's Meadow and that nice big dock up here. Tom's Meadow is on the left. Here. Dock is up here, straight ahead. So you can see the amount of work we're putting into all this. It's extensive. We've spent a lot of money and time to kind of retrofit this place from a horse rehabilitation facility to something that's more about family fun and a get-together place for weddings and camping and things like that. So I'll introduce you to a couple of our citizens here. This is Sammy and Pacholi. Sammy is a pig and Pacholi is a blind pony. So it's the pig and the pony, and they're pretty cool. They're best buddies. The pig is the eyes for the horse, and it's pretty neat, pretty interesting story. Coming back up to the clubhouse now. This is Tom's Meadow Lane, or Alleyway. Alrighty, well that's the general tour. And I'll sign off now and go concentrate on making some of the more specific tours. Thanks a lot.